Good morning, guys. This is day 2 of me speaking to the camera every day for the next 90 days. And today I wanted to return back to what I was talking about yesterday, where I was kind of telling you guys my story. And it got cut off in the beginning. So I kind of want to return to where I was at and also just start back from the beginning again. So, as I was saying, early on in the journey, it was just like selling shoes, selling Fortnite accounts, doing all this video game stuff, and just trying to make a quick buck. And through that, I realized that chasing after something is so much more important and valuable than just being the same as everyone else. Even if you aren't going to see the same results as everyone, just being able to show up and pursue something each and every single day gives life so much meaning. And when I realized that, and when I realized how much fun and how alive I felt when I was doing so, that's when I just continued to try and fail and a bunch of new things. And so I tried all those things, failed a couple of them, and then where we left off was my senior year, where I destroyed my ankle, blew out my ankle during my senior year of basketball season, and I was pretty upset. But during that time, at one of my low points in my life, I was still relentless about the things that I wanted to work towards and the things that I wanted to chase after, and that was affiliate marketing at the time. That was TikTok Shop. That was, making videos online for brands, and I knew that that could bring me somewhere. And I didn't, I didn't really see the end goal there, but I knew that if I worked towards something like that, it would just continue to open up doors for me. And so I was working on this thing, affiliate marketing, just like doing posts for brands. And the next thing you know, I got a couple of viral videos and made a couple of $1,000, and I was on top of the world, right? It was the best feeling I ever felt in my entire life. It was the end of my senior year of high school. I got my first fat payout from this brand. I was in Florida with my best friends. I finished my last season of soccer. We won the championship. Like, it was just such a great, euphoric time. And honestly, sometimes I wish I could return to that just because of how amazing it felt. But that gave me that first taste of true freedom when I first finished high school, and I finally got that fat payout, and all these things started to align and connect, and it was just amazing. And fast forward a couple months, I'm in my freshman year of college, and I never really was a big school person. I never really planned on going to college. I never really thought that would be something that I would indulge in. I just don't believe in the system whatsoever. I don't believe that it is for me. I believe that it can help you if you're trying to be an engineer like my older brother who's killing it right now. If you're trying to be a nurse like my girlfriend who is killing it as well. If you're trying to do something in that field like where you need college, yes, I absolutely agree with that. But for someone like me, I don't think it's the right play. And I kind of got sucked into this societal pressure to go to school and to, do what everyone else was doing. And I didn't know what else to do. I could have just not gone. I could have taken a year off. I could have doubled down on the things I was working towards, but I didn't. And honestly, I was disappointed in myself because I did it, and I still am in a sense. I'm still disappointed that I didn't take that risk and jump on that opportunity that I had. But I believe that everything happens for a reason, and I believe that all the things that we go through, all the trials and tribulations that happen, are mandatory in order to become the people that we ultimately want to be. I've met some of the greatest people I've met in my entire life through this school that I'm at right now. This kid Brandon, who has his own clothing brand, and he is one of the most driven people I've ever met in my entire life. One of the most positive people. One of the most people that I've seen that walks in their faith so much. And him and his crew are just so faith-based. They're so positive. They're such good people, and that is kind of what I was looking for in my life. And I found that. And also through all those trials and tribulations, I continued to show up and work relentlessly towards the goals that I wanted to achieve, whether it was growing my personal brand, whether it was continuing to post for other brands on TikTok, or whether it was just, chasing that dream. I continued to show up each and every single day. My freshman year, I was just posting TikTok Shop videos in my room, and I kind of isolated myself my freshman year. I'm getting attacked by bugs right now. All right, let's just fucking... So yeah, my freshman year, I just doubled down on the work, doubled down on the TikTok Shop, doubled down on posting for brands, and I started to see some results again there too. I started to make some money. I started to build some traction again, and I loved it. I really did. I loved it, and I was really proud of myself because I was seeing results at something again. And so I kept doing that, and fast forward to that summer of freshman year, I got my first... So I started with landscaping. I was working landscaping for a couple weeks, and then I got this opportunity to work down in the city, and it was honestly kind of stressful. But I made the decision to do it. I knew that it would bring me, good money, a stable paycheck. I knew it would help me meet a ton of people. And so I did that. And through that was some of the hardest times of my entire life. but I think it ultimately made me into the person that I am now today. During that time, I was making my first like big check, and I invested it all into courses, mentorships, online programs, and all these things that ultimately didn't see results for me in the time I was doing it, but long term they did, because when I signed up for those things, I realized how easy it was to beat everyone else. Because I realized that I was outworking absolutely everyone that was in my competition. I realized I was outworking everyone that I was going up against. And I just knew that I could beat everyone if I kept showing up each and every single day. And the fact that I took that bet on myself when I was working all those long hours and I was just spending all my money on these things that I didn't know if I was going to make my money back on, it showed me that I'm able to take risk. It showed me that I'm able to get uncomfortable. It showed me that I'm able to force growth within my daily life. And that's exactly what I kept doing. So that sophomore year of college, I continued to work on my personal brand, continued to try and do the whole fitness coaching thing. And I didn't succeed at it at all. But I kept showing up each and every single day. And I kept training hard, and I was training jiu-jitsu a ton. That's when I really, really fell in love with the jiu-jitsu. And I was just showing up each and every single day. I was competing a lot. I was training a lot. I was just reading so much. I was writing so much. I was trying to grow my business, and I didn't see any success, but I grew so much. And I kept showing up each and every single day relentlessly. And I think that's the outlier for me as to why I am in the position I am in right now, which isn't the best position in the world by any means, but I'm proud of where I'm at, and I know that I'm going to be great, and I know that I'm going to do something remarkable with my life eventually. And going back to when I used to post those videos, I used to have friends that posted them too, because I put them on. I was like, hey, let me show you how to make some money. Like, let's do this together. Let's make a good life for ourselves. And I would see results and they wouldn't, and they would always wonder why. And I would tell them, like, you're not seeing results because you're not willing to do what it takes. You're not willing to show up every single day and stay extremely consistent at something that you want to, at something that you want to make, And people just didn't understand that. And I didn't understand that at first either. I was kind of confused, but I just kept showing up. I kept doubling down on the work. I kept, doing what I knew I would do best. And that's just work relentlessly hard. And that sophomore year, summer year, I went back to work in the city, and I was honestly pretty disappointed in myself. I was like, damn, like I failed. My goal was to not work there again next year, but I needed money. I needed a stable check. I needed to save some money. I needed to do my thing. So I did it again, and I worked in the city again. And that was also another season of my life where I endured an immense amount of growth. I was waking up every single day at like 4:45, 5 a.m., hitting the gym, going on my 2-hour bus ride to work, working all day, 2-hour bus ride back home, straight to jiu-jitsu, eat dinner, go to bed, wake up and do the same thing each and every single day. And the weekends weren't off either. Saturdays I would wake up, go hit the gym, go to jiu-jitsu, come back, edit videos, do whatever, go meet up with Michaela. And then Sundays I would usually chill. But it showed me how much more I'm capable of doing. It showed me how much I love to chase after things. It showed me how much I love the process of getting better each and every single day. And it truly was remarkable to see how hard I worked in those periods of time. It truly was remarkable. And this past year, my junior year, once again, I didn't really see any crazy success, but I kept showing up and I kept growing and I kept developing and I kept learning in all these areas of life. And I'm not going to say I'm disappointed in the fact that I haven't really achieved any success yet, but it is definitely frustrating at times because I feel like I'm working very hard. I feel like I'm staying extremely consistent. I feel like I'm doing all the right things, but I personally just don't think I've found my thing yet, and maybe I will find it very soon. Maybe what I'm doing right now is that thing, but I won't know until I know. And I know when I find it, I will be absolutely positive that that is the thing that I need to double down on for the moment. And that doesn't have to be the end all be all. But throughout the junior year, I was just continuing to show up, continuing to post on my personal brand. And one day I came across, I was following Based for a while. So the Eric's brand Based supplements, I was following them for a while. And one day I hit him up and I was like, yo, do you guys have any more shirts left? And he was like, yeah, just like Venmo me and I'll send you a shirt. They were out of stock, but he got me one anyway, so it was dope. But he reached out to me and he was like, hey, would you want to post for our TikTok? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I did this for a while. I want to get back into it. I was doing the coaching thing for a while and it wasn't working, so let's do it. So I started posting for them and I was relentless. 3 times a day, every single day. I was the most active one in that entire Discord. I was doubling down on the work each and every single day. I was putting out quality content. I was testing different angles. I was at all the calls. I was doing the thing. And I wasn't getting paid for it in the beginning. And I just knew that if I showed up and gave everything to one of my favorite brands, that it could lead to something. And so I kept doing that. I kept working my ass off. I kept working as hard as I possibly could at something so little as like TikTok. And I kept posting on my personal as well. And eventually they reached out to me. They were like, hey, let's get you on retainer. And that was awesome. So I was on my first retainer deal. I was posting for them. And then one thing led to another, and the videos just weren't performing as well, so I wasn't on retainer anymore. That was kind of disappointing as well, because I was like, damn, I feel like I failed. And there was like a 1 month hiatus where I was just like really, really doubling down on my personal brand. It was over winter break, and I was just working my ass off. Like training jiu-jitsu twice a day, lifting every single day, posting a ton, posting as much as I could, like posting 5 times a day sometimes, writing, reading, running, spending time with family. Like that was one of the best seasons of my life, because I also was working towards the Los Angeles Open, the IBJJF Open. It was my second competition at Blue Belt. And that period of time was so amazing. And like, it just goes to show that you don't need to have everything figured out. You don't have to have any sort of material success in order to really, really enjoy your life and to be fully involved in the process. Fully, how do I say this? Fully consumed by the process. There's nothing else that matters for me in that moment. It's just me getting better each and every single day, and I love that so much. And I kept doing that. I kept doing the thing. I kept showing up. I kept working hard, and I just kept proving to myself that I can be someone who shows up each and every single day until this stuff works out. So fast forward a couple weeks, they put out something online. They're like, hey, we're looking for a copywriter. And I texted my brother. I was like, yo, should I apply for this? Like, I might as well, right? He was like, yeah, apply for it. Do it right away. You never know what will happen. So I just did it, and then I stopped thinking about it. And I ended up getting it. And I got it. And there was a couple other, like, there was like 200 other people that applied for this job, and they were all accredited copywriters. But they chose me because they knew I was someone who was able to show up relentlessly each and every single day. They knew I was someone that was able to be reliant upon. They knew I was someone that could, learn all the new tools and skills that I needed to learn. And so I did that for 2 months. And eventually that didn't work out either. And I was pretty crushed about that, honestly, because I put in so much time and effort into that, to learning, to trying to get better, to, truly try to make something great out of that one opportunity that I had. And it didn't work out. And I was honestly pretty crushed because of it. And I felt like I put in a lot. And it sucked. But I showed myself how much more I'm capable of. I was working on my computer for like 8 to 10 hours a day. I was, while in prep for competition, like I was just doing so much. I was getting work done in class. I was getting all this stuff done. I was learning all these new skills, all these new tools, all these new things. And it wasn't like I was complaining about it. I was so happy that I had something to fully indulge in. I was so happy that I had something that could fully consume me. I was so happy that I could have something to work on so hard for so many hours each and every single day. And you could argue that it probably could have taken way shorter, and yeah, it probably could have. But I showed myself that I'm capable of doing this. And so that didn't work out. It fell through. And then a couple of weeks went by, and I had a phone call with Noah after that fell off. And he was like, hey, we want to keep you in here in the agency, but we want you to just take some time to figure out what you're uniquely suited to do and what you're good at. And we had like a 10-minute conversation. It was a quick one, but that conversation really had a big impact on me, because he was like, you need to find what you are best at. You need to find what you are uniquely suited to do, and you need to double down on that relentlessly. You need to find what feels like play and looks like work to others, and double down on that. And I did that. I doubled down on my content, and I grew like 8,000 followers, or like 5,000 followers in a couple weeks. Like that, this conversation we had was like less than a few months ago, like 2-3 months ago maybe. And my account absolutely exploded, because I just showed up relentlessly each and every single day, and I started to provide as much value as I possibly could. And I knew that content was my thing, and I knew that that's what I was good at. And I kept showing up, and I kept doing the work, and I kept showing up, and I kept doing the work. And I realized that content is my thing. Right now, that is my thing. And I'm even realizing this as I tell you guys here, that that's the thing I need to double down on right now. I always try and say I don't have it figured out, I don't know what my thing is, and I'm honestly lying to myself. And so a couple weeks go by, and a new opportunity presents itself to me, and they're like, hey, do you want to edit our videos for us? And so I did so, and that's where I'm at right now. I'm just editing content for them, pumping volume. I'm out here in Quebec with them, just editing as they film each and every single day. But I've also just, it's really cool. Don't get me wrong. It's really, really cool. It's a very cool experience. This is one of my favorite brands. I've been looking to them for a long time. So it's so cool, and it's such a blessing to be able to work with them. But I've built such good relationships with the people on this team that could go way farther than any business opportunity I get out of any of this. Truly, truly, these are some of the best people I've met in my entire life. And they have genuinely had such a massive impact on me in the short amount of time that I've known them. They're so positive, they're so driven, they're so uplifting, they're so deep in their faith, they have such good morals. And it's like, I love being surrounded by that. I love being surrounded by that. And I know that if I continue to work my ass off each and every single day, and I continue to surround myself like people like this who are just going to uplift me, that I will ultimately achieve success. And I'm starting to completely detach from the outcome. I'm starting to completely detach from all this desire of wanting to achieve these things, and starting to really just fall in love with the process of working towards something. Because going back to what I said when I first started selling sneakers, that was the thing that fired me up, was just having something to work towards. You know, like, that's the beauty in life, is like, we can get so caught up in all of this like nonsense, but if we just double down on the work, and we just double down on the things that we're good at, and we just chase after something, it is so meaningful and so valuable. And you just need to find your thing. And it doesn't mean you need to find it right now, but you need to find something to work on. You need to double down on that relentlessly and continue to show up each and every single day, because you never know where it will lead you. And I know if any of you are watching this and you feel like me in some sense, where you don't want to live a normal life and you don't want to do the normal thing, just start working. Just start working hard. Just start trying new things. Just start posting content. It's like, start doing something, bro. Because you truly never know where it can lead to. You truly never know what opportunities it can present to yourself. You truly never know what you could do with your life. And I'm a testament of that. I've seen so much growth. I've had so many cool opportunities. I've had so many amazing things come into my life from just doing what I do. And I haven't achieved success, and I say this over and over again, but in my mind, I have achieved success. In my mind, I am the person that has $1 million business, a $10 million business, a $100 million business. In my mind, I am that person. And I tell you that with full confidence, because I know it's going to happen. Because I know I'm going to create the life that I've always wanted to live. Because I know I will outwork absolutely anyone, and I know that I will never quit. And I say that with full confidence. And I hope you could feel that, because I know that each and every single one of you are capable of doing the same exact thing when you apply yourself, when you cut out all the things that are holding you back, when you really start to chase after your dreams and your goals, and you really start to show up each and every single day relentlessly towards the things that you want to achieve within your life. So I'm going to leave it at there. This is one of my favorite talks I've had so far, and I'm excited to continue showing up each and every single day and doing this. And proving to myself that I can work relentlessly towards anything, and proving to myself that I am a great speaker, and proving to myself that I really can truly make something amazing out of my life. Because as I do these episodes, I'm not only figuring out things within my own mind, but I'm also giving them to you to piece together in your own mind, and try and piece together what problems you're going through, what things you need to do within your life, what do you actually want out of life. So I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. Peace.